Yesterday, I brought you a video about the child maintenance service, and I touched on the very outskirts of what is the makings of a very, very big scandal. There's an awful lot going on with this particular government department that probably isn't very well known. And one of the things that was triggered really by my mentioning it was an awful lot of stories from an awful lot of parents who have fallen foul of this organization. And they want me to read some of them out and let you know exactly what was going on. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me once again. Good to see you as always. Well, the Child Management Service, or, the people that control the maintenance payments when you split up with your other half, or whatever you want to call them. The fact of the matter is, it is a massive scandal that is costing the welfare of hundreds of thousands of parents every single day of every single year. What little I've learnt in the last few days is, well, earth-shattering, and I'm of the understanding I've literally just scratched the surface. What's needed is a public inquiry into this organization to actually get to the bottom of what's going on and do something about it. Now, before I go into the stories, I want to show you a petition that's been started. Public inquiry into the Child Maintenance Service. Very simple, very straight to the point title, and the actual link to find this petition is right here. Public inquiry. We are concerned that incorrect assessments and inflations of amounts owed by paying parents, combined with excessive use of enforcement action, has caused significant distress to many paying parents, leading in some cases to catastrophic consequences. We want a public inquiry to investigate this. We want the government to launch an inquiry to investigate how child maintenance service assessments have been conducted, the validity of the £3.8 billion of arrears, the enforcement action taken by the Child Maintenance Service to collect arrears, and the impact this has had on paying parents. You can see from the wording in that petition alone, this is a very, very big minefield, and it's a big scandal that's going to have the lid blown off of it. I can guarantee you that. Now, what I want to read through now is some of the comments that were left on the video that I brought out yesterday, purely because people want me to put these things in front of you and let you know what people are going through. It's, heartbreaking. There's no other word for it. I mean, myself, I can appreciate it from the point of view of a child, albeit the early 80s, and it was another time. I was there as a child, and I remember, but, what effect does this have on the adult? Let's have a look at some of these comments, and I'll leave the petition link in place so you can see it. First one, Simon Richards. The CSA are a complete joke. When I split from my son's mum, I rang them to see how much I should pay. Oh, wow, we don't often get this, the girl said. I sent off wage slips and an amount was agreed. 6 months later, I got a letter saying I owed hundreds. I had him 2, 3, 4 nights a week, football every weekend, both him playing and Old Trafford, not cheap. Bought him clothes, took him on holidays, etc. Fortunately, his mum is great. She rang them and said, we don't want the CSA involved anymore. He's a good dad, pays more than his fair share of money, and more importantly, gives his time. We'd rather sort it out between ourselves. Although I can imagine some women, unfortunately, don't have her values. This one is from Mr. Bang Buzz. DNA tests also should be mandatory. Many dads paying for kids that aren't even theirs. That is one of the things that I did actually hear. Somebody being put in a position where they think the child is theirs and they actually aren't, and then they're paying for it. Barry, Thanks for touching on such a neglected subject. For years, I've been trying to help one of my sons through the CMS quagmire. In my experience, they are the most arrogant, disorganised, and downright unhelpful department I've ever had to deal with. As a caring father, I have to live with the worry of what could happen if he loses the strength to continue. It's really that bad. I believe you, Barry. I've heard some terrible stories. The Will Parr. When the CSA was first formed, it was to chase absent fathers who paid nothing. But they took the easy route and went after fathers who were already paying, and their payments went through the roof. I mean, this is correct with, percentages and enforcement fees and all that sort of thing put on top. Cola 100. After paying over half my wages and covering all the bills we had incurred during the marriage, I was living in a room in a shared house. She had a house, a car, a living lover, paid for years. However, eventually I left the country because there was no let up. Joel Fides, pardon me if I mispronounce your name. Mate of mine split with his missus. They're both teachers on the same salary. 2 kids that they share, 50-50 time-wise. His missus decided to go part-time, so he gets charged way more because of this. He never agreed to anything more than his share. It's totally one-sided. Oh, and she left him. He didn't want to separate. Equality? Hardly. There's another awful story. Mad Max's dog. When will they realise this is cruel to the kids? I agree with you. They go see their dad at the weekend who can't take them out anywhere because he's strapped for cash. I was divorced in the mid-90s, and in order to keep the CSA, as it was known then, out of the equation, we went to a solicitor and had a contract drawn up regarding maintenance and custody. I think it was called a separated couples agreement. However, my ex-wife had to go on benefits due to looking after 3 kids and the DHSS. Also, they were known then, deducted money they deemed I should be paying, regardless of the agreement. I was left with no choice and living on fresh air. Stuart B, my ex and I had an agreement. I paid X amount for years. Then she got greedy, got the TSA involved. I'd done the calculations, etc., and said I should pay X amount. Put it this way, worked in my favour, the tune £200 less than our agreement. Oh, she tried the emotional blackmail, asked me to revert to the original agreement. I told her to do one. So that's a story where it did work out. Sue Evers, speaking from the other side of the fence, I'm fed up of paying for other people's children through my taxes when neither pay the child maintenance. Yeah, there's a couple of comments I've seen like that, and some people have children for all the wrong reasons, and children can be worth a lot of money to, people if they have them for the wrong reasons. It's disgusting to say so, but unfortunately, it's one of the truths of all this. Let's have a look at some more of these comments. Ersko, that's really bad. I feel sorry for the divorced fathers. You don't know the half of it, but thank you. Scorch 100. I think this is a situation that gets brushed under the carpet with no checks being done. That's right. Nobody wants to know. Nobody acknowledges that this is a problem, and that will change. It's always the non-resident parent that suffers. The CMS always takes the resident parent's side, and you're guilty till proven innocent. The whole system and process needs investigating. Somebody told me it's actually in their best interest to cause as much chaos as possible from a financial point of view. They're monstrous. They really are. Tidy Sampler. The story certainly hit home for me. I had to deal with the then CSA on behalf of my son and his mum. This was many years ago where it affected me. I had no real issue with the then CSA per se. It's a story of a co-worker I once worked alongside a few years ago. They made me aware of the CMS. The CMS were absolutely horrid in how they dealt with that guy. But in my case, the CSA, me and my son's mum both got rid of the CSA because of the story I became aware of with the CMS. So we chose to agree between ourselves to go to personal payments instead. No money going to the government. It was the best choice I can personally vouch for. No issues at all. Plus, never ever missed a payment. And my son's mum did a fantastic job bringing my son up. A very good story how that ended. Brian DeBuck, when my first wife and I divorced, she received letters from these scoundrels about claiming child maintenance for our two boys. Because we were still on good terms, considering she asked me to help fill in the answers, which we did. None involving payment, and sent it off. The next thing was I received a somewhat threatening letter from them demanding that I pay whatever for my kids, as she had asked. I was medically retired, so had no assets. She'd not spoken to them about any payment, as they maintained. To say the least, I was pissed off, so I wrote them a strong letter telling them they lied. She never asked for money, and the form they referred to was actually filled in by me. Absolute silence from them, and nothing since. That seems to be their MO, not saying anything. Mr. Big Bang Buzz, in Australia, it's based off your tax return. When I split, I had to share a house. Many men had to move in with their parents. BASTARD, I was a single dad of two boys. Their mum left when my youngest was 6 months old. My friend split with his girlfriend and he had to pay child maintenance, yet my ex-wife didn't have to pay a penny, even though she had a good job. My mate had a minimum wage job, and then they took him to the cleaners. It's so wrong, isn't it? We'll finish with this comment. Jack Watson. When me and my wife split up, I was on low pay. That was the main reason, actually. That's what caused the arguments. The child support agency wanted £80 a week off me, which left me 109. So I went to my local citizens' advice and they said, pack your job in, go on the dole, you'll be better off. And boy, they were correct. Boy, they were correct. It's life destroying, isn't it? They will just destroy complete lives. You could have a high paying job and you can't stay anymore because of their actions. They could break you because of their actions. You know, artificially inflating salaries as a scare tactic to make you pay up, getting involved in split parents who really don't want them involved in the first place because, you know, it's in their invested interests to do so. It really is disgraceful. I've read so many stories about parents. We keep saying fathers, but at the end of the day, you get the occurrences of mothers in this situation as well who can't go on anymore because of the pressure that's put on them by these people. It's a scandal and it needs to come out and it needs to be dealt with. And you know, the ones that are really, really suffering in all of this, they're children. At the end of the day, a child deserves three things: a mother, a father that loves them, and a happy, secure family environment. You do the best you can for them. I was that child. I remember it well. Very, very difficult subject to go through, but it's one that needs outing. And, you know, as upsetting as it is, there are big things and there are things that are going to come out about this in the not too distant future. I can guarantee you. Anyway, thank you as always for watching. If you've got any comments, please leave them below. Make sure you subscribe to Andy the Gabby Cabby. Show your support that way. It's appreciated. We're beginning to grow again. We lost a bit of momentum there, but we're growing again. Give the video a thumbs up as you would with all the others, and definitely share this one if you can, because again, if it'll help somebody, it's got to be worth it, even if it's just one person. And check that petition below. Get your signature on it. Anyway, I'm off. I'll see you shortly with one more. Toodaloo.